enthusiastic Toastmasters, excited guests, and our chief guest for today, Yuvraj sir. Auspicious evening. My name is Rizvi Bashir, and I'll be the SAA for today's meeting. I welcome you all to the 211th meeting of Voice of Innovators Toastmasters Club. Before we start the meeting, I would like to mention three ground rules which we follow in our Toastmasters meetings. As Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, or politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Please put yourself on mute if you're not speaking. Please turn off your video if you're stepping out of the meeting. Each soul enters with a mission, and we all have a mission to perform. Likewise, our Toastmasters Club also has a mission. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is that we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With that, I hand over the stage to the ebullient Toastmaster of our club, whose smile have the ability to make us forget the rest of the world, the captain of the ship, Toastmaster Rashid Maimoon. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, our acting Sergeant Arms, Toastmaster Rizvi, for that wonderful introduction and instruction. I will also like to add that if you're eating or drinking something delicious, you can also please, switch off your camera as well. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our meeting number 211 with an amazing theme, Code with Love. I call meeting to order. Now let us start by introducing our wonderful guests. Let me ask them one by one to introduce themselves, starting from our chief guest, Toastmaster Yuvraj. Can you tell us about you in 1 minute or less?
Yeah, sure. Right. So thank you. Thank you, Rashid Maimoon, for introducing me. But yeah, so my name is Yuvraj Premlal. I am from India, and I am put up in the industry in a different domain for the past 18 years. So I have been into engineering industry as well as education and software as such. So currently I am founder of Code Eagle. So software training organization, a tech education company, as well as I have a small tech startup for schools and colleges. So this is a very brief about myself. But again, my experience spans from project management to marketing across quality, production, and yeah, so almost 18 plus years, you can imagine. So of course, most of you must be having similar experience in this field. So in fact, so I have been through all these things, and with this experience, yes, so we do offer our services or our products to our clients. So with the utmost quality, and we maintain so that okay, so you need to have the best quality possible in the in the industry or in the market for our clients. So that's all about me, and it's my company is me, in fact, because I'm a very passionate businessman, in fact. So I do take risks. So, but yeah, so most of the times, yes, as you must be knowing, many of you must be knowing, a few risks actually backfires, but again, you learn a lot from there, and again, you proceed forward. So I look forward for like-minded people, and again, so better interactions. So and hence I in fact when Raja invited, I thought yeah, this is a very good opportunity to connect with you all. So because most of you are very good experienced people, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you, Mr. Yuvraj, for that brief and quick acting introduction. We'll be hearing more from you actually, so we'll be waiting for hearing more and more about you actually when Toastmaster Raja introduces you, or when you give your presentation. And of course, business and marriage, it's a risk anyways. So it's like you're expert in business, I'm expert in marriage. So anyways, moving on to our next guest, we have with us Toastmaster Junita John, our general evaluator.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I wish a very good evening, and I wholeheartedly extend a warm welcome to all. Thank you for inviting me to be the general evaluator for this meeting. So I'm excited to be a part of this meeting number 211. Let's all sit back and relax and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Janika. Now, moving on to our next distinguished guest, Toastmaster Rinosh Thomas.
Thank you. Quick introduction of myself. I am a Toastmaster in St. Paul Toastmasters Club. I'm the Vice President Education, co-founder as well. Quite excited to be, especially with the younger generations, and do a lot of event management. I'm also a coach and aspiring to be one, especially for the business and life coach as well. And thank you, Toastmaster Raja, for inviting me here. And look forward to a very exciting meeting. By profession, I'm in the telecom domain. That's it from my side. Over to you, President Toastmaster Rashid.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rinosh. Welcome to our club once again. Now, moving on, the next our list is Toastmaster Rusbi Bashir, our acting sergeant task.
Hi, I'm a student of architecture, and as well as I'm doing another course of English as well, bachelor's in English as well. Been a Toastmaster since the past 1 year. That's it from me. Thank you.
You know how casual the nowadays. I'm doing architect and I'm doing BA in English. It's like I just spent 5 years in doing English. And what are you saying? Anyways, welcome Toastmaster Ruby. Welcome once again to our club. Now moving on to our next and the last guest on the list, Toastmaster Nasha.
Good evening, everyone. Most of them know me, so I don't think I can give my introduction, but I'll give a short and this. So my name is Nasha Saksan and I'm doing BCom in Indian Academy, and I'm a Toastmaster in Indian Academy Toastmasters Club, and I'm proud to say that my father is a Toastmaster. He's a DTM, and thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nasha, for that introduction. Thank you, and thank you to all of you for joining our meeting and gracing us with your presence. We always love to have you. I think we have another guest just arrived at the last moment, Toastmaster or Ms. Malavika. Can you introduce yourself, or your audio is not connected yet? So Toastmaster Raja, when she will be connecting the audio, I think. Yeah, her audio is connected. Toastmaster Malavika, can you introduce yourself? If not possible, yeah, she's unmuted. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Malavika. Can you introduce yourself and tell us where are you from?
Okay. Okay, I am Malavida. I am coming from Kerala, and I am studying in Bahrain, doing second year. Then staying with my parents and sister. That means.
Thank you, Malavika. I hope you enjoy our meeting. Thank you. And we have also another guest, Toastmaster Muhammad Sultan. Or is it only Mr. Muhammad Sultan? You will find out. Can you introduce yourself, please? Okay.
President, can you call him once again? He might not have heard you since his audio was.
Toastmaster Muhammad Sultan, are you here? Can you please?
Hi, I can hear.
Yeah. Hi, can you introduce yourself, Mr. Muhammad Sultan? I don't know you're Toastmaster or not.
No, I just recently joined, so I would like to experience Toastmaster things. So I just requested one of your colleagues, and he sent me the link actually.
Yes. to welcome Toastmaster or Mr. Muhammad Sultan for our club. And hopefully by the end, you will be thinking joining, inshallah. So, inshallah. So that's our introduction of the guest. I don't think there is anyone else remaining. So ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next item on the agenda. And before I do that, let me ask our VP Education, is there any changes to the agenda that was sent?
Yeah, actually change of surgery rounds instead of Toastmaster Tosin, Toastmaster Rusby.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, everything done. This time we are not conducting any business session since we have the keynote speaker. So we will conduct the business meeting on next meeting. Back to you, President.
The R counter and the grammarian, is it? Yeah, the grammarian is here, I think.
Yeah, yes, they are joined. Yeah, he's there.
And the R counter, is it?
R counter Toastmaster Nasha.
Okay. Okay.
And
so
grammarian Malavika.
Okay, so I propose that we accept the agenda with the changes. Somebody from the members to second it. I see Toastmaster Kavita. Yes. Okay.
I second it.
Wonderful. So since there is no objection and there might not be any objections anyhow, so let's adopt the agenda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our theme today is code with love. Now, if you are coding, believe me, if you don't love it, you will not, do it actually. All the algorithms, the code language, maybe for a normal person, maybe for a guy who's not used to it or not aware of that, it might be hard to fathom actually. But for somebody who knows it, who's passionate about it, that's something they love. And if you don't love something, you'll not be able to do it perfectly. Now, I remember throughout my life, I love to do a lot of things. Unfortunately, the love changed in every 10 years, 5 years, 6 years. But there was one passion that whatever, for me, whatever I do, I was always going to want myself and people around me to be happy, to be smiling, and to not worry about what's coming tomorrow. But this might differ from one person to another. We have all heard the saying, do what you love. It doesn't matter whether you're making money or not. If you're making money, that will have, maybe make your parents happy, maybe your spouse. But what if you are doing is not fulfilling you on a personal level, on a level that you feel at the end of the day, the work that you have done has made a difference, or what you have done and make you happy, then it will not fulfill you. So ladies and gentlemen, always remember that whatever you do in this life, whether it is coding, whether it is talking, whether it is, listening, and especially Toastmasters, you will not be here clapping and raising your hand or coming and taking roles if you don't have passion or love for Toastmasters. So do whatever you do with love and passion, and you will go a long way. Toastmasters and guests. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that brief address, let me introduce to you our wonderful Toastmaster of the day. He is a man on 100 missions because he goes on from one task to another task to another task. He wears so many hats that he stopped wearing hats physically. Now he's free because his wife is in another country, but that doesn't mean he is not busy. His wife, or maybe he himself, makes sure that he is busy and not distracted with anything else. So he goes from one event to another event. So he will be like, we need to finish now because I have another event to catch. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let us welcome our conductor, our code fixer, and our JavaScript for tonight, Toastmaster Raja Manikam.
Thank you, President Toastmaster Rashid, for a wonderful and dynamic introduction. Enthusiastic Toastmasters, an excited guest, auspicious evening. My name is Raja Manikam, and I will be the Toastmaster of the day. Welcome to Voice of Innovators Toastmasters Club. It is my responsibility to guide you all through this meeting. Let me first extend a warm welcome to our guest. You will have a chance to volunteer in our meeting. Let's talk about the theme of the day, Code with Love. I think this is the chance to explain me why I took this coding now. Because I'm studied a diploma in electrical electronics engineering. There is no way related to codings. Why? Because, of course, Yuvraj knows everything. And 2016, I planning to start my entrepreneurship. So I went to start my infrastructure, IT infrastructure. So I just discussed with TCS, one of the company in Chennai. I just take the quote. We need to start up. We have to invest almost 5 to 6 lakhs for IT infrastructure. How come here we are starting now business? How we can invest in 5 to 6 lakhs at a time? Massively, I sit with them for 1 month. I got everything, framework, everything. So ultimately, only one thing we need to learn about whoever want to start a startup or entrepreneurship, that is coding. Now I got it. Now daily I am typing 50 lines of coding from this book, just to copy and paste in my HTML book. This book, Teach Yourself C in 20 days. Daily I am typing whatever I know, I don't know anything. Just copy the text and typing these things to practice the coding. Then only we can learn. Okay, let's move on. Everyone in this country. So we'll start with our let's start with our code. Everyone in this country should learn how to program because it teaches you how to think like Steve Jobs. If you have something inside you, something you know, something you do, something you can teach. Yes, of course, our Nasha also is studying for lawyer. He's referring many books. So she can teach us how become a lawyer later on. So you're an already expert. We are all here trying to impact the world in our own way. But if you don't start putting your message content out there in a web form, it is not going to change anyone's life. No matter how things get, keep putting your message out there. Keep sharing your stories. Keep finding your voice. Because this journey and this mission is not about us. It's about the people that are listening, the people that you are working so hard to reach. They need you. They need your voice. They need your message. Your people are waiting to hear from you. Let's proceed with the meeting. For the guest, you came to know what are the Toastmasters. So let's proceed with that meeting. There are 3 main sessions in our today's meeting. First, we have our keynote speech. Second, we have the education session as a prepared speech. In third session, we have a general evaluation session of the meeting, along with closing remarks from the president. So I would like to introduce the tag team. That is our first timer. Is of course, she's a passionate accountant. She's my wife, Toastmaster Kavita. To fulfill our vision, time is key. To start and ending the time on time, we have our timer. Please welcome our Toastmaster Kavita to explain her role.
Very good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches and the evaluation. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow and red cards, which denote specific time remaining. Table topic speakers should limit the remarks no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will raise yellow card. At 2 minutes, I will raise red card. And for keynote speech, at 15 minutes, I will show green card. At 18 minutes, I will show yellow card. And at 20 minutes, I will show red card. And next for educational session, the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will show green card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. Back to you, table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. And next in tag team, I would like to invite our accounter, international student in Indira Gandhi Open University, studying BCom, and her ambition is to become a lawyer. Passionate Toastmasters, and our contest champion, Toastmaster Nasha.
Thank you, TM Muli, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as clutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nasha. Next move on, we'll introduce our grammarian. Even though this is an English language Toastmaster Club, our next role player listening our English usage. She's an international student in IGNOU, studying Bachelor of Tourism. Always smiley face and humble speech. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster Malavika to explain her role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is for today's meeting, I will be the grammarian. It is my duty to take my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers and listen to their language usage. I will also take note of any misuses of the English language. For today's meeting, the word of the day is sacrilege, which means treating something holy or important without respect. An example for using the word is, it is a sacrilege to offend democracy. Each speaker is engaged to use the word of the day. I will give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Malavika. Next role player, I could like to invite our general evaluator, my own coding mentor. She served in club level, area level, division level, now district admin manager, our own champion, Toastmaster Junita John.
Thank you, President of Indian Academy Toastmasters, immediate past Area 35 Director, Toastmaster DTM Raja. A very good evening. It's just to give a short overview of what a general evaluator is. So my role is to evaluate the meeting in general. I will call the tag team, like how DTM Raja introduced, for their reports at the end of the meeting, which is of the timer, the hour counter, and the grammarian. I will also comment on the quality of the evaluations given by the evaluators and also of the prepared speeches as well as table topics. So as in short, a general evaluator is nothing but someone who would be just evaluating the meeting from the start when it was called to order till the end, so that we get an overview and we can learn. It's a learning practice. So thank you so much, and I'm really humbled to be a part of this meeting. And back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Junita John. Now moving on, it's time for the most awaiting since a month. I'm very much excited for this keynote speech. I'm sure all would be. And we have the best person with us today to help us with that. He is the artificial intelligence enthusiast, edupreneur, data professional, and theory of constraints international certified holder. Founder and CEO of Cody again, Mr. Yuvraj Premlal. Stage is yours, sir.
Yeah, good evening all. Thanks, Raja. Thanks for such an introduction. Maybe I missed a few of those in my, while I was introducing myself. Okay, thanks for reminding. Anyway, so good evening all. A formal welcome to this speech, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to connect with fellow Toastmasters. Okay, so all of a sudden I feel part of this group. Okay, part of this Toastmaster group. This is my first meeting with Toastmasters. I see a good amount of positivity flowing in over here. Okay, so nice to connect with you all. Okay. So with that being said, the topic of the day is obviously why coding. So what is the need for coding in coaching industry as such? Fine. So maybe I will present my or share my screen and present my deck so that we can be on the same line and we can discuss further. That being said, if you have any questions, I'm not sure whether it's allowed in Toastmasters, but again, I would always love to have more interactions, more questions. So if you throw more questions at me, obviously it will be more interactive and you can get more knowledge, and I can also get more knowledge out of this session. In fact, okay. So I set the stage in this fashion, and let me share my screen first. Hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So yeah. So this is what I belong to. In fact, So I have a problem of creating many things, and again, succeeding in few and failing in many, and learning from that, and again keep creating new things. Fine. And it's a beautiful problem which I want to associate with at any point of time, because that keeps you running. In fact, and again you'll be doing something, or you never feel that you are aging. Okay, it is almost 18 years. I never knew how these 18 years really flew away. Okay, so because every year, every 3 months, it's different to me. And again, that is where I ended up with this code Egan. So code Egan here, Egan, obviously those who are from mathematics background, you must be knowing. Egan stands for a particular quantity, a mathematical quantity in matrices and data determinants. That's what we discussed about. Fine. So this itself says we are more into data science and data engineering. Okay, so I'll come back to why data science and data engineering if the time permits today. But again, so how this is linked to how I can link this to coaching industry, and what is the real need for this. So let me just give you a short background, my professional background. Maybe that will shed more light into how coaching or how coding, in fact, helped me to come up in my career. Okay. So I started as a mechanical engineer. Fine, I'm basically a mechanical engineer. I did really well, and again, I got placed in an organization as a design engineer. So when I was in college, obviously, I wanted to be a design engineer. Nothing more than that. Okay, I wanted to design cars or bikes. I always wanted to be in a small air-conditioned room, and again do these simple design works with the high-end systems and all. Okay, so I was happy with that. Small goals, in fact, and I was very much a content person. But again, once I got into the industry, it was a shocker in the sense there was no design. Right? So there was no design in the sense there is no the room for creativity. What I assumed was not there. Okay, so the creativity, actually the creativity, or again, if you want to do something new, the freedom or the room for it was not there, technically speaking. Okay, yeah, you can try, but again, you may not really put that into use. I'm more of an application person rather than just a theory person, and hence it didn't suit me. So I was just fumbling between design, production, and all these things, and I ended up in marketing. So marketing and project management, and again, yes, from there, marketing and project management, you see. I started from engineering, selling engineering goods, and again, I was in the oil and gas projects, Petrofac projects, and so the Aramco projects and all. Fine. So again, there also the passion for creating something new, doing something extra. So that was always there, but again, like I really couldn't put up my energy into it. Okay, because if you see this mechanical industry where I work is for nothing but like a kind of a capital intensive industry. So when there is a capital intensive industry, if I have to start some a vendorship or like an organization manufacturing some small parts for bigger organizations, even there, like I need to invest in 50 lakhs to 1 crore easily. Okay. So, but again, we don't know. We don't have room for experimentation also. So that's a huge risk what you could be taking in your life. So I thought, okay, so something is missing, like somewhere I need to do something different. Okay. So that is when I found that, okay, why I'm running like this, like from design to marketing to quality to project and all this. Because only one thing, the passion was not design engineering. The passion was not marketing or not project. It is to solve problems. Okay. My passion, I found later in this, maybe after some 8 to 10 years, that my passion is nothing but solving problems. Solving problems what my client faces, and solving problems what the people around me they face, right? And a general public, I would say. So that is when I thought, okay, why I'm not trying coding? So why I shouldn't touch coding like as such, fine. So there I started to learn coding, and again it was not an easy journey to be like to be frank. It was definitely a very tough journey because what happens is after a few years, when you're getting into coding, and again you need to get the right mentor. It was not easy again. The course material here and there, and now you have all this Google all stuff. But again, like maybe a decade ago, it was not the case. So it was not easy. But okay, somehow like I managed because it's a passion which drives as much as the passion that drives you guys also. So that being said, and from there on, yeah, I took off and again started building small applications as well as like I got into education industry also. I started like actually like what I where I found lacuna was, so I learned coding and again I was developing applications and I was like fairly successful. But the problem is like how well like I can know. So see that yes. Oh sorry. Yeah, I'll go slow. Sorry. Sorry, the screen is stuck. Just a moment. Sorry, guys. Sorry for this interruption. Yeah, sorry. So, like again, so this coding actually, like I learned well, or I became a kind of maybe in the eyes of the world, like they look at this as look at me as an expert. Right? So though I do not claim, because in coding nobody can claim themselves as an expert, right? Because it's always a learning process. So, but that happened just because like I started teaching coding. Okay. When I started teaching coding, I learned a lot. Okay. So that's how like the journey of like education and the software training and the software projects, it happened. And again, like, yeah, so we carried on that. And this like I would say the manifestation of all this learning is this coding tech education company in data science and data engineering. And now, yeah, this coaching, like when we are talking about coaching as an industry, so we look at, we should know that it is almost a 20 billion USD industry, US dollar industry. It's not a small amount. Okay, so it's definitely not a small amount. However, the one of the key issues with this industry, and I would say like that's again a boon and a ban. I would always say that yes, like it is more or less it is unorganized. Yeah, it is organized to some extent, and again yes, like it is getting organized. I would say, but it has a lot of room to get more organized. However, this unorganized nature gives us a lot of opportunities, right? So here, like okay, this coaching industry, and again like how my experience of like getting into coding really like, can be related is like okay, so I'm finally into coaching in one form or the other. I was into consulting, project manager. I'm still a project management consultant apart from what I am doing. And because I'm more passionate about this project management also, and I have a good number of years of experience in it. Right. So here, what I found is like when I started getting into this coding part, I was able to find the real solution for the problem. Otherwise, it used to be more of a discussion, more of a brainstorming. Right? When you have a problem and when you come to me, and when we discuss that, yeah, we discuss, and again, like, so you will have some idea, you'll have some roadmap which is put in place. However, it gets converted into actionable, so actionable stuff only when, like, someone works on it. And who can really work on it? Obviously, like, your organization people or yourself if you're a one-man company. But again, with what? Obviously, with the enablers like your websites, enablers like your apps, or enabler like your models nowadays, data science models. Okay. So this actually helped me in my career journey. And again, like, I can relate that over here in the coaching industry also. What we are more worried about is obviously clients and their expectations. Like, obviously those who had been in this industry, so in any industry for that matter, not just coaching. So you must be knowing already that client expectations are changing with time. It is not the same, right? So 10 years back, the client requirement was entirely different, and now it is, so very much different. And now, like, this online thing is, let's say this is an example, right? So before COVID, era, obviously, like, many people were reluctant. Even, like, we faced that in my tech company what I run. Okay, so many of us, like, we faced, they were reluctant to adopt this particular online strategy. However, like, because of this, after this COVID, and when there is no way out, obviously people came, and again, like, they started adopting these technologies, like, with both hands. So this happened. So the technology is going to grow. The technology is going to grow in multi-dimension. Okay, obviously, like, at exponential rate. It is no more a linear curve. It is definitely an exponential curve in which this technology will move on. So, like, we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about machine learning, deep learning, and all this stuff. And all this stuff, why at all, like, someone should be working on these technologies? This is to make some applications. And this is when you make applications, see, all these are abstraction layers. Under, or like, beneath all this stuff, like your technology or brainstorming or whatever, all we are trying to do is we are trying to meet the client's expectations, which is nothing but to solve their problem. So, like, without coding, solving the problem becomes, kind of half-baked stuff. So that is, see, actually coding, earlier, maybe 10 years ago, like, coding was nice to have feature. Nice to have feature if you're a coach. And again, like, if you do not coding also fine. But again, like, if you have coding in your kitty, obviously it's nice to have. Someone will say, hey, okay, this guy has more knowledge in coding as well. Right. But today, yes, like, it is still not a need to have. But again, the day will come, the day is not so far that coding will become a necessary skill set for anyone in this industry. So, not just in coaching, but again, it is more profound in coaching. The simple reason is, obviously, clients come to you or come to me with their problems straight away. So, like, it's kind of like, we have to behave like a medical practitioner. So we need to give them the right medicine. And the right medicine cannot be just advices. So it has to be technology. We can obviously, like, we can obviously recommend some technology. We can obviously recommend applications. But again, if we have knowledge, if we can do something with that, your creativity as a coach, because if you're in coaching industry, obviously I have seen with my experience, like, these guys have very good creativity, because they actually solve many clients' problems, and they learn from it. And obviously, like, they are not going to do the same thing again and again. So they are going to do a variety of things in their career, and that actually, like, boosts up their creativity. So with that creativity, you may want to solve some problem. So that is possible only if you know at least some basic to intermediate level of coding. And again, why this coding? So as we discussed, it's nothing but to, like, it actually helps us in making things, or in developing enablers. Between you and your client lies these enablers. These enablers are nothing but your websites and application. I'm repeating it, but still, I think it's worth repeating. So these are nothing but your websites, your applications. When I say applications, mobile apps, or like any models. So anything, even a small add-on to your to Excel or Word or whatever it is. Fine. So, so that is the area like what we need to focus on, because coaching is not just like I know something and I will give you, and which doesn't mean like I will not learn anything. Right? I have to learn. When I am in coaching industry, I have to keep learning. And the world is moving towards technology. We accept it or we do not accept it. It's, the world doesn't bother. The industry doesn't bother. The industry will keep moving. So when the industry is moving, we got to catch the trend and we need to go ahead with it. Go, in fact, like at least go in parallel with it, if not ahead of it. Right. So obviously, like this coding knowledge, obviously, like you need to have at your disposal. So that is another feather in your cap at any point of time. So again, so now that we emphasize the importance of coding, like in coaching industry as such, so we need to know whether it is coding is tough or not tough. Coding is actually not tough, right? So yeah, like my experiences are now quite contrary to what I'm speaking now. But again, I have seen obviously as much as many of you must have seen that this coding as such, or rather like it has become more democratized in the sense like a decade ago, as I said, we didn't have much of the materials. We had to like depend on others like knowledge sharing, networking, and all those stuff. Today it is not so. So the courses where I used to pay some 30,000 or 50,000 just for like 2 or 3 weeks, right? So today it is available for entirely for free, very high quality study materials, right? So you need to say all you need is some passion, all you need is some time, obviously. So if you have passion, you will find time. So like if you want to learn, and again, like if you want to develop a website, so if you want to develop a simple website, not more than 1 month is required. Obviously, you need to like put your efforts, and definitely within a month or so, you should be able to get things done comfortably. But yeah, so more complicated you go, obviously the effort, the amount of effort and the expertise required will be very, very high. So in that area, obviously, like you need to tweak things, particularly on time front. Okay. So coding is, if you have any notion that coding is tough, okay, so take it from me, because like I have been coaching people in coding, obviously, apart from other things, right? So take it from me, coding is not that tough. And again, like here, you need to have a consistent effort. You cannot, and obviously coding is one area where you will get demotivated every minute. Obviously, people like Raja must be knowing already, fine. So it is not not that when he's writing 50 lines of code daily, he will not get it running at the first shot itself. Maybe he may have to so encounter multiple errors, and he has to work with it. So it is the learning what you get out of it. So you have to put your efforts, a consistent effort. And if you're going to ask if age is a criteria, come on, you're like, I'm 45, or again, like I'm 50 or I'm 60. Come on, guys, like, no age is so like, so older to solve a problem. So like, just if you notice, yes, where we go when we have a problem at our home, obviously, like we approach our parents, like we approach our elders, we seek their advices. And again, like the more we get experience, the more we get exposed, we have that, so like what do you call that expertise? When you have that expertise, then definitely like, because if you have like got this much of expertise, getting coding is not that really tough for you. Okay. Start small, go slow, and again, you will understand over a period of time that slow is the new speed in coding. Right? So you cannot if I'm going to say you will learn coding, you will learn data science, you will learn JavaScript in next 2 to 3 days, maybe yeah. So you can get a good introduction, but definitely like you will not reach that level where you can confidently make some good application for your clients or for yourself at least. So you may have to put out some at least some so a month or so, obviously. But again, that is actually better rather than after a month or so, you will find that, oh, okay, fine, I haven't learned enough coding. Right. So slow is the new speed in coding, and coding is a different animal when compared to mathematics or like science. Okay. Because coding comes with practice. So it requires obviously good analytical skills as well as like good computers. It's a combination. Right? It's not a single industry. So it is a cross-functional industry, I would say, a cross-functional knowledge what you're getting. and hence you need to approach it slightly differently rather than doing it in a schoolish way. Right? So with that, obviously I would always say, please do not ignore coding if you are in coaching industry, though it is applicable for any industry for that matter. So please embrace this concept of coding and try your hand on it. So I bet definitely you like it. Right? So that's all I wanted to convey. So to this wonderful crowd, and yeah, so if you want to know what we are doing and different courses, obviously so I can share this deck to Mr. Rajamanikam, and you can always have a look at it. Right? Or otherwise, yes, if you have any questions, so now I open, I keep this session open to take it, and definitely try to answer as much as possible from my end. So over to you guys for your questions. Yeah, Raja. Yeah, guys. Any questions which you would like me to address? Yeah, Nasha, Malavika, Mr. Raja. Yeah, Nasha.
Why coding is important in our life?
Yeah. Okay. So you have mobile phone?
Yeah.
We are connected through Zoom now.
No, it's through tab.
That's fine. We are connected through Zoom today, right? So you must be in Bahrain, if I'm right.
Yeah. Yes.
So but again, we speak face to face. It's technology, right? So technology, actually, you like it or not, it has already pervaded into our life, personal life. Okay, it has come. It was actually at office, and it came up to our door. Now it is within our home, in our bedroom, right? Fine. So there is no privacy. Okay, we always live with technology, so you cannot ignore coding. So there are two things in coding: whether you want to be a coder or whether you want to be a consumer. So many of the people, those who use mobile phones or any gadgets for that matter, they think they are good in programming or coding. It's not that. They are good consumers. That is all it is. Right? But coders are who create things. Okay, who create mobile apps, who create websites. Right? So coding, actually, it is more like you cannot live without it. Okay, going forward. Now, so now this is what I said. Okay, so earlier it used to be a very nice to have feature. If I know coding, this guy has coding skills. Today, and again, sooner or so, obviously, everyone should and must know coding. More like ABCD in alphabets. Okay, so you cannot ignore. You are a lawyer, correct? If I got it right.
No, I'm doing BCom, sir, after that.
Oh, you're doing BCom. Okay, fine. Let's say tomorrow you want to develop an application for your clients. Fine. So what will you do without coding? You will hire a developer like me and I will charge you double. So what will you do? Fine. So you have knowledge, but I don't have knowledge. I only have coding knowledge. I don't have domain knowledge. Okay. So you have got beautiful domain knowledge. So and I will do something. I will say madam, I have done this, you pay me this. This is the bill. I'm sending it to you. You have to pay me. And you will pay me. And after 3 months, it will not work. And I will not attend your calls. Fine. So you don't want to get into such issues, right? So you need to be, self-sufficient, and it's not tough. That is what I'm trying to say. It is not that you're going to take away some developer stuff. No. So being a developer is not a tough job to do. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
Yeah, Toastmasters.
Yes, I just want to know, do I need to be, good in math if I'm going to be coding? Because I heard somebody saying that you need to be, especially in algebra, somebody so told me.
Okay. See, there are, I would say the straight answer to this is yes and no. Okay. In the sense if let's say I'm into data science and data engineering, and we do coding on daily basis, right? And here, I know mathematics, and my team is really good in mathematics, and they are designing different models, this, that, and everything. But again, even with the least amount of coding. This has been already taken care by people like AWS, there is Amazon or Google or Azure already, and they have APIs, so which you can use. And slowly, like we also, like, when we are into this coding zone, obviously, like, I cannot get such talented people. I cannot get, I cannot pay for 5 PhDs in my team. I don't want it. Fine. I just need a PhD or maybe 1 or 2 PhD or on freelance basis. That's enough for me. Okay. So I cannot keep recruiting people, and I cannot become another academic center. Fine. So if you know mathematics, you can obviously create new models, and there is no second thought about it. But even if you do not know mathematics, it's still good. The simple reason is, like, you will know that there are many moving parts when we talk about coding, and all you need to know is how these moving parts really work. Okay, so that is where things come into play. But that being said, a minimal basic level mathematics is required. So you cannot undermine that. Maybe like 10th grade or up to 12th grade mathematics, definitely we need to have. Like, you need not be a PhD. Okay. Raja.
Yeah, we will. Thank you so much. If any questions, we'll continue on after our speech, educational speech. Okay, thank you so much, our keynote speaker, Mr. Yuvraj. Next, moving on our education session, we have interesting special one prepared speeches waiting for you. We have one speaker, not so usual, and evaluators will be applied to the teachings from workshop into practice. Our first speaker is today a Toastmaster since November 2012, almost 1 decade. A champion in numerous speech, served in various position, area, division, and district, including as an admin manager of District 20, winner of several district PR awards. Currently is the president of Voice of Innovators. Our Toastmaster Rashid Maimun. His topic is role reversal, and it's going to be evaluated by our club coach, Indian Academy club coach, Toastmaster Renos Thomas. I request Toastmaster Renos Thomas to read out the purpose of this speech project. Over to you, Toastmaster Renos.
Thank you, Toastmaster today. Good evening to all present here in the virtual platform. And to speaker Toastmaster Rashid, who is attempting his level 4, project 1. The project is about communicating change. The purpose of his project is for him to practice the skills needed to effectively communicate change to a group or organization. And it is for him to practice speaking about this change, and I'm sure he will brace it. And I look forward to a very interesting speech coming from Toastmaster Rashid. All the best. The timer, please note, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster Today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Renos. Without further ado, it gives me pleasure to now call upon Toastmaster Rashid Maimun to give his level 4, project 1, communicating change, path, visionary communication. Speech title, role reversal. Role reversal, Toastmaster Rashid Maimun.
Fellow Toastmasters and wonderful guests, why is it when some revolutionary ideas come that it is disregarded and called as hearsay or blasphemy or sacrilegious? That people say that those who are proposing it are crazy, mad, or even sometimes prosecuted, be killed. Now I stand in front of you, mere mortal, a legend in years to come. Through my work with the United Nations Development Fund, we have passed a resolution in the United Nations, resolution number 144444M, which states that men from 2015 should only be restricted to staying at home and taking care of children, while women go out and work and lead the political life. Now, I know this may come as a shock to you that men should stay at home and women should go outside. And before every man started staring at me or started to plot my murder, hear me out. There are reasons for this to happen, especially now. Because of this pandemic, we have got to learn that men are capable of staying at home, cooking, washing, taking care of children without supervision and without killing anyone. And because of the pandemic, we have learned that the number of men dying from heart attack has decreased. There is no stress. Number of traffic accidents has decreased. Number of hair fall has decreased, by the way, as well. And there were 4 main reasons for the United Nations to pass this resolution, this big change. Reason number 1, men are known to be lazy and don't have the ability to multitask. Women, by nature, know how to multitask. They can handle stress better. Just ask my wife. There is a reason why women give birth rather than men, don't they? Yes, they do. The second reason, since the beginning of time, the people who are holding the reins of the political leadership have been men, 98% of them. And it has resulted in nothing other than war, starvation, poverty, and the list goes on. Women have shown the ability to lead Fortune 500 companies, even some nations, like a small country called Germany, where Chancellor Angela Merkel was the longest and the most successful chancellor in the history of Germany, leading Germany to prosperity and thriving without any war. And we also have the Iron Lady herself, Margaret Thatcher. She was not only political leader who led Britain for years with an iron fist, he also was the commander-in-chief when required during the Falkland invasion. And we have all heard the jokes. If there were women leaders, they will all end up not talking to each other. Haven't we heard this joke time and time again? Ladies and gentlemen, it's wrong. Because you see, women are more diplomatic in their response. Even if they don't like you, they will say yes, 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 yes. They will respond to you. They will give you a calculated and thoughtful response. Men, on the other hand, are short fuse, are rash. They will say anything on their mind. Do I need to mention Donald Trump? 4 years seemed like a century. Or do I need to mention every dictator in the history? They're all men, by the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, maybe it's time we trust women to take care of the political leadership. The reason number 3, ladies and gentlemen, men are used to complain about everything and anything. The cooking should be like this. There is no salt. You should make it like this. The dish should be like this. You should clean like this. If men are good in advising people, maybe they are good in handing over the broom and the spatula and doing them by themselves, aren't they? So maybe it's time that we give them a chance. Of course, we know the men claim that we are the best cook in the world. We cook in every restaurant. This is your chance to prove it. Prove it now. Of course, fourth reason, say, every time I see a movie, every time I read a story, every time it is a story about children and their parents. The children like their mother and hate their father because the father was never available there. He was out making money, and all the story will be like, where were you when I needed you? You were out making money. I needed you the most. Who was paying for your lunch? Anyways, it's about time that people stop considering men as villain. Other than the mother-in-law, from women, only men are considered as villain in all the fictional and non-fictional stories about life. I know, ladies and gentlemen, this come as a radical change, radical shift, but it's time for the role reversal to happen. Be patient with this change. It will happen, and it will, by 2050, be a reality. I might not live to see the day, but you will remember this speech till that date. Thank you, and back to you, Dr.
Wow. Thank you, Toastmaster Rashid. What a wonderful speech. Next, we'll move on our education session. One of these things, impromptu speaking. So for this, I would like to invite our enthusiastic personality who feels content is taking up responsibility and challenges. A Toastmaster since a year and has been able to serve various positions at several levels. Currently serving as VP of Indian Academy Toastmaster Club and admin manager of Area 36 and Division I District 20. Toastmaster Rusby Bashir, stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Today, we're going to do the session a bit differently. I have rules today. And okay. So we've been talking about coding today, and our chief guests have told us how it has evolved. Coding wasn't much popular back in his studying years, and now it's in the rise. And in future, it'll be a world where you can't live without coding. Similarly, imagine today you have to imagine that archaeologist living in the year 2525, which is years away from today. And from that perspective, you have to explain what the item, which I'm going to show, is used for. It'll be a everyday use item. Is the instructions clear? Can we start with, yes, Raja sir?
Yeah, I think okay. Your screen is okay. You can carry on.
Okay. Can we start with Toastmaster Junita?
Oh my God, you had to choose me only.
Who better than you, ma'am?
Sure.
You can choose a number.
Okay, I will choose number 3.
You know what that object?
I can see
Now
a
you're an
glass of
archaeologist.
water.
It's
Okay.
a glass of water. You can, yeah, see whatever you want. You're an
Okay.
archaeologist. You're in year 2025. Now you're explaining that to us, what it was used for. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. So, seeing this glass of water only reminds me of one thing, that no matter what time or age it is, water is always going to be essential to us. It doesn't matter whether you live in the modern era or the historian era or even in the future gen, as they say, because water is something which is very essential for us, as humans are dependent on it. And what's most important is that we need to know the value of it, just like anything else. In life, humans, all of us have this habit of taking things for granted. We don't value it when too much of it is available to it, whether it can be nature, resources, loved ones with us, spending time with them, or anything of that fact. We take everything granted. And fortunately or unfortunately, water is a resource where we knowingly or unknowingly utilize it in such a way, thinking that it's fine, it's just water. And most of us, even I'm guilty at times, sometimes I just keep the water running, and maybe I'll just, for a second or two, I might just go and, maybe grab another cup of water. But what we don't realize, there are cities, there are places where people are actually starving, or they don't even get this drop of water. So a glass of water can mean anything in a different era, whether it is today, tomorrow. But to a person who is thirsty at that moment, it's always just going to be water. And that drop can actually give him that elixir of life. So hopefully, keeping that thought in mind, we just move forward, that to just appreciate what things are there in front of us. And together we can make a difference. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks. Moving on, Toastmaster Kavita. Hi.
I'll choose one. Hi.
Okay. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, I thank you, Table Topic Master. Actually, you have this is really an innovative session. Nobody has thought in this way. When you asked this, I was thinking that year what thing is going to come and how it's going to be. Some many thing was running into my mind. I got pen actually. In the current generation itself, nowadays nobody is using pen. Only what to say, in that year, we have to I can save this pen and I can show that we all used to write in this pen. Like that we can say history to the present generation. Actually, seriously, coming generation are really so what to say? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita.
What to say? Many things is running,
know.
but suddenly I could
I know
not.
there'll be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Our next speaker, none other than our chief guest, Mr. Yuvraj. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
want to
it's
have-
me this time. Okay, fine. Thanks for inviting me for this. Okay, actually, my daughter's birth date is 5, so I'll go with 5. Okay.
Mine too.
Yeah, so Princess Luck, let me see. Oh wow, good. So
Over
bicycle.
to you, sir.
Yeah. So I'll tell like okay. So because I do see as Jurida John has rightly put, water, okay, the importance of water and associated impacts what the world is going to see, not just water, okay, other things, other resources. This technology actually, like I will say in 25, that once upon a time, there was something called data science, there was something called technology, and this cycle was there and it was connected to cloud. You used to get all the data from here and there. But, finally, like it was some 300 years back, 400 years back. Okay. Because yes, technology is growing and everything is fine today. Okay. So like we are living kind of the world is living in Zen life. In fact, it is not thinking about future. Fine. It's like, they are living today. That's all. So today it is fine. Google is fine. Okay, so we have a lot of money nowadays. Like, people have good access to money and all. But again, many of us, in fact, okay, not just because world includes us also. Fine. So many of us are forgetting the fact that okay, we are actually depleting the resources, and the day is going to come when, like, we are going to go back to our nomadic stages, right? And we will see not just like only elixirs. Okay, elixirs in the sense of sorry, not the elixir is not the right word. Oasis. Okay, so not rivers, fine. So you'll be keep digging somewhere for water. Will keep digging somewhere for food and all. So it might sound negative. Sometimes I do see actually, like, I have this perspective of God. Okay, so it's not. I'm not talking about any religion, but again, the very word God. Like in pandemic, when I had to give a speech, actually, like I formulated the two sides of it of this virus. One is like GOD stands for giant organism of destruction. At the same time, it is the positive side is good old days. Fine. So it brought us back the good old days, in fact. And again, maybe like the God will work on the positive side, because like nature has to balance itself. Fine. It's not a negative way of thinking. Nature has to balance itself, and it will balance by destruction. Okay, by destroying something which is not required for nature. Okay, and again, like yeah, I think like we'll become more humane and more what do you call? So like no more towards love, affection, and those emotional part of it, because every one of us are emotional people. Right. So maybe yeah, that's what I'll say. My word will be like, okay, once upon a time there existed something called technology. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, while standing in 2525, these things might disappear. They won't. There might not be pens. There might not be glasses. It could be goblets of water, edible packets of water. There could be just, we could write in air or something. We don't know what would happen. But rightly stated, we might have to come back to what we're at now because of the depletion of natural resources and all. We don't know what would happen. That was a nice thought processing session, I suppose, I hope. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rusbi Bashir. It's an innovation plan for table topics. Yes, we are coming to our final session, that is a general evaluation session. With that, we will move on final session by an esteemed district admin manager. Again, Toastmaster Junita. Back to you, Toastmaster Junita.
Yes, good evening once again. So before we move on, I would call upon, since we had one speech today, which was delivered by Toastmaster Rashid, I would call his evaluator, Toastmaster Rinosh, to give his speech evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Once again, good evening to all fellow Toastmasters and to speaker, Toastmaster Rashid. Well, when I first saw the topic of role reversal, I was just wondering what actually Toastmaster Rashid is going to speak to all of us. I thought probably something close, but then nowhere actually close to what he spoke to us. And that was a thought-provoking topic. And I love the fact when people give a topic that you need to ponder. The reason why is because you get hooked on to what that speaker is going to say for the rest of the time. So I'm going to take my evaluation into three phases. Number one is what I loved about his speech. Number two is areas where he can work on to uplift his speech to the next level. And I'll summarize it at the end. So yes, number one is that topic that made me think, and I'm sure many of you as well started to relate to what he wanted to speak about. Number two, the objective of his of his project speech was to introduce a change in a group or an organization. And then, and by the way, it could be a realistic one or it could be a hypothetical one. And then take us through the journey of that change. How is he going to communicate to us about that change? So as part of the project evaluation, he had introduced that change to us. The change is very interesting. He's come up with not just introducing the change where we be at home, ladies, you work, all right? But he had also taken the fact and had the guts to take UNDP, United Nations program, as that organization that made that particular change evaluate. So yes, hats off to you to take that particular change. It's a hypothetical one, and to take an organization, not just local, but global. So that's something that we need to understand from there. He had taken that level. So that's good in using that. He had used justifications. Men are known to be lazy. All right. So men, we need to get ready to see what's next. All right. Multitasking, a chance to prove by cooking skills, moving, couple of justifications that he mentioned to say that men are going to be at home, women are going to be working, and given certain roles like Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, Donald Trump, gave all these comparisons. Now, what I would like to see, that's what you've done fantastically. Coming to what I would love you to add on to your speech, just two things. Since it's a hypothetical one, you've taken UNDP as well, put in some stats. 80% of the population, 90% of those who are men, 1,300,000 something, put in some stats to show some more proof to your change, because it's in UNDP, which is going to go global. Probably you could also take it to Middle East, since we are very close to Middle East, right? So we love eating food as well. Maybe the concept is different. So we say, give some stats. Stats is something that will add value to that change, which you will try to convince the audience and the organizations. The last one is, by this change, being UNDP, how will it help the global economy to grow higher? I leave that concept of thinking and challenge yourself on that 2 points. But having said that, I love the fact of your topic, a brain teaser. I'm sure it's not a sacrilege to any one of us, using the change concept introduced to us, using the organization UNDP, and giving us justifications. Just work on some stats and the way that it can help to convince the audience a bit more. With this, I'm sure you're already a humorous speaker, a champion speaker. Adding these few things will elevate your speech to the next level. Thank you, and back to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Renosh, for that precise and wonderful evaluation. Now calling on to the tag team, I now call our timer, Toastmaster Kavita, to give the timing report for table topics and the prepared speech.
Yeah, general evaluator, apologies. She has some internet connection. Our speaker, Toastmaster Rashid, took 7 minutes, 18 seconds. For table topic, Toastmaster Junita took 1 minute, 55 seconds. Our Toastmaster Kavita took 1 minute, 10 seconds. And our keynote speaker, Yuvraj, took 2 minutes, 43 seconds. And evaluator, Toastmaster Renosh, took 4 minutes. Back to you, Jinji.
Thank you, timer, or Toastmaster of the day, who is giving the timing report on the timer's behalf. Moving on to our counter, I call upon Toastmaster Nasha to give the report for today.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening once again. For education section, that is prepared speech, TM Rashid Memo, no mistakes. For table topics, TM Junita ma'am, 1 R. TM Kavita ma'am, 3 and 3 R. And TM Yuvraj sir, no mistake. And TM Renier sir repeated the word and. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nasha, for your honest evaluation. And I can vouch for that you were a very good listener. And last but not the least, the G of the tag team, may I call the grammarian Toastmaster Malvika. I'm sure she would be happy with only one person, if I'm not wrong, who used the word of the day. Anyway, let's hear from her.
No one used the word of the day.
There was one person who used. Oh, there are two persons.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Malvika. Thank you so much. Just to give a overall evaluation of how the meeting went. The meeting was well organized and it started 7:05 p.m. if I'm not wrong. And what I liked about this whole meeting was from the start till the end, the theme was kept intact, which was Code with Love. And as we know, the meeting started with the Sergeant at Arms, who beautifully graced the audience, Toastmaster Rizvi. She's perfectly done her role. I love the way she greeted the audience and she had that energy. So because of that energy, everyone carried on that momentum and, held that. And I think we still have that. It's because the meeting started on that note. The president called the meeting to order, Toastmaster Rashid. He was warm. I like the fact that he introduced each and every guest member who had come here, whether even though they were a part of today's meeting, even whether they were taking a role or not, he made sure even a normal or a new candidate who just joined in for a few minutes, he gave the platform to them, making them feel warm and comfortable. And I think that's what Toastmasters is all about, to embrace each other. It's not just to build in your communication skills, but to embrace each other and make you feel at home. So that was beautifully done. Next comes up the Toastmaster of the day, are really, as Toastmaster Rashid said, the captain and the whole idea, I would say, the generator of this meeting, Toastmaster DTM Raja. He had the whole meeting intact and beautifully organized. He introduced the tag team along with the general evaluator. Then comes the keynote speaker. I have to say, being a software engineer myself, I really loved your keynote speech. It was indeed what I liked, it was not too technical, and at the same time very precise. With four or five slides, you made a very powerful impact so that each and every one of the member could connect with you. So it wasn't something technical, but yes, this was like a teaser and eye-opening, giving a slideshow more about your company, or if anyone wants to know more about data science or even coding as fact, you just intrigue that peak of interest in them. So thank you so much for joining this meeting with us, and we are more than delighted to have you here. Moving on, then came our educational session. What I liked about our educational session is not only it was delivered, when we have the speaking session, was not only delivered by a humorous champion, Toastmaster Rashid, but I liked how he took a very very intense topic, and he delivered it in such a way where we can understand it. Because usually, to be honest, I don't think this is something we would all love reading or listening to it about it when you read it at first glance. But I liked how Toastmaster Rashid took that challenge, and when he just delivered, it was so simple to understand. And the same thing was delivered by his evaluator, Toastmaster Rinosh. He made sure he mimicked the same actions, reactions, or whatever it was. So that shows the success of Toastmaster Rashid's speech. So I must say, I really loved your speech for the fact that you chose a topic which was not something everyone would deliver, but at the same time, you delivered it with that much poise and in such a way that everyone could connect with it. So kudos to you on that. Toastmaster Rinoj, what do I say? He is he's been a wonderful coach for Indian Academy Toastmasters Club. But apart from that, his vast, I would say, his vast book of knowledge he has. He's literally an encyclopedia, and he'll go and he never stops in helping others and giving or sharing that knowledge with others. So his evaluation was on par with the fact that he was giving out the suggestions, the improvements, and at the same time, I felt I understood Toastmasters Rashid's speech better with few pointers he had made note of his speech. So thank you, Toastmaster Rinosh. And I have to say, regarding the grammarian, I'm sure Malvika did not speak much because she was upset with all of you. She was really upset for the fact that none of us used the word of the day, including me, which is why she just said no one used. And when few people used, she said, okay, thank you. So I think this should be a good practice in all our meetings. The reason why there's a word of a day is we can learn, and at the same time, maybe when you're going to be a grammarian for another meeting where you're invited, you can use the same word and others can use the same word. So the whole point is, when there is a word of the day, it's a good practice that we use it, because it's something which you're learning it on spot. That's one. And secondly, when you're using it there, your memory registers, your mind registers it, so that it's easy for you to remember it and utilize it. So it's like a learning process. Our counter, I like how Toastmaster Nasha was like brute, and she was bold enough to tell, like, yes, the general evaluator had made one mistake. She used Toastmaster Rinosh used and so many times. So that's a very good fact, that our counter was very vigilant, and she performed her role sincerely. A timer, I'm definitely, I have seen Toastmaster Kavita was there from the beginning of the meeting, and she has been an avid participant. Nevertheless, it's the same thing whether Raja or Kavita reads the minutes of the meeting. They are like two sides of the same coin. So thank you so much for that. Overall, I must say this meeting I felt there was warmth in it. It was a short and sweet meeting. And I like that. Yes, I forgot one important aspect, and that was there from the back of the mind before I conclude. And that was the table topic master. Toastmaster Rusby, I must congratulate you. And most important, I love the fact that your table topic session was not only different, but also in line with the theme. It was in line with the theme. So really, I really appreciate it. I was in awe of it. And I liked how you were, calm, composed, and you did. So I think this small factors adds to the success of the meeting. And you really added the value to the meeting. So thank you so much. I hope I've covered all the points, and this has been a very good and interesting meeting. And I'm sure today's meeting 211, inshallah, more than that, maybe we can cross 300. This is a wonderful club. As you said, code with love. So together, hopefully all members will join, know the importance, not only just through coding, but also through Toastmasters as well. So thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wow. Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Junita John, for accepting the invitation, sharing your inner voice through your valuable evaluation and recommendation to improve our club meetings in future. Let's give a round of applause to General Evaluator, Toastmaster Junita John. Next, to move on, voting and awards. Yes, I think today we have one prepared speech, so there is no competition. Yes, we have a champion, so no competition for us. But in table topics, we have the competition. Yes, I could like to share the poll. Please participate in the poll. Dear Toastmasters, can you start polling? Voting?
I think you can vote for yourself as well. It's okay.
Sure, tie up. Of course, I'm almost everybody done, 100% done. I could close the poll. Yes, thank you so much for the participation of the voting. Yes, our Toastmaster, our President Toastmaster Rashid Can you share the? Otherwise, I will hand out to you.
Yeah,
Shall I hand out to you?
you can announce the winner, Toastmaster Raja.
Yes.
Topics.
Yes, I could like to announce that today's table topic winner is our keynote speaker, Toastmaster, upcoming Toastmaster Yuvraj Premlal.
Hey, yes, thank you. Thanks for that.
On this, we could like to appreciate, submit our appreciation to our keynote speaker. On this, I could like to invite our President Toastmaster Rashid.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja. Thank you for our wonderful guest, wonderful general evaluator for her thorough evaluation, to all the role plays, the timer, grammarian, the R counter. I thought I did use the word of the day, but I think for the grammarian, if people cannot use the word of the day, then you have won. So remember that, and keep taking the role. Toastmaster Malvika, our R counter, Toastmaster Nasha. It's always good to say the names, so we will know, and we'll. And I think I have so many R's, but thank you for not repeating them. Thank you, Toastmaster Rinos, for evaluation, and special thanks to our guest speaker. Please accept a small token of our appreciation as certificate from our Voice of Innovators.
It's my pleasure.
Yuvraj, I think Toastmaster Raja, you have misspelled his name, but the J is I, but he will correct it and send it to you, the correct version, Toastmaster, our incoming Toastmaster Yuvraj. Thank you for sharing.
I think he purposely put that because he wants Yuvraj to code it and correct it. It's like a challenge.
It's a challenge, but the thing is that I signed over it and I didn't see the thing. So, but nevertheless, I think Toastmaster Raja will have to code my signature. How will you do that? See. So thank you so much, and I think we learned a lot of things. And I always say, whatever you do in this life, do it with love, do it with passion. Always smile and keep smiling and keep innovating. Till our next meeting, the second week of September, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your time. I know it will be boring without our meetings, but nonetheless, we'll meet you second week of September. Thank you, and back to you. And the meeting is adjourned. Yes. Now we can chit chat anyway.
The recording off.
We close the recording.